The difference between authentication and authorization. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Elak, and today we're diving deep into a crucial topic in the world of security: authentication versus authorization. These two terms are often used interchangeably, but trust me, they have distinct roles in securing applications and systems. So let's break it down. What is authentication? Let's start with authentication. In simple terms, authentication is the process of verifying who you are. It's like when you show your ID card at the entrance of a building and the guard checks to make sure it's really you. When you log into a website or an app, authentication asks for something like your username and password. It could also involve other factors like a fingerprint, face scan, or even an OTP sent to your phone. Here's an example. You go to your favorite social media app, enter your username and password. The system checks if these credentials match what's stored in its database. If they do, congratulations, you've been authenticated. In some cases, authentication might go beyond just a username and password. You've probably seen two-factor authentication, 2FA, right? This is a security process that adds an extra layer, requiring something you know, like a password, and something you have, like your phone to receive an OTP. Here, after you enter your password, you receive a one-time passcode, OTP, on your phone. You enter that code to verify it's really you trying to log in. What is authorization? Now that we know what authentication is, let's move on to authorization. Authorization is about determining what you can do once you've been authenticated. Think of it like this. You've shown your ID at the door, authentication, but now the guard needs to decide if you're allowed to enter the VIP section, access the conference room, or just hang out in the lobby. Authorization decides what resources and actions are available to you based on your identity. For example, after logging into your email account, authentication confirms your identity, but authorization determines if you can access certain folders, like the admin folder or the user folder, based on your account role. Maybe you can read messages, but only admins can delete them. So, while authentication is about verifying who you are, authorization is about defining what you're allowed to do once you're in. The difference in practice. All right, let's compare the two side by side for clarity. Authentication. Who are you? Verifying your identity, for example, username, password, biometrics. It's the first step in accessing a system. Authorization. What are you allowed to do? Defining what you can access or perform after authentication. It's about setting permissions, roles, and rules. Real-world example. Let's put this into a real-world example that's easy to understand. Imagine you're logging into your bank account online. Step 1. Authentication. You enter your username and password, and maybe even use two-factor authentication to prove it's really you. Now, the system knows who you are. Step 2. Authorization. Once logged in, authorization kicks in. If you're a regular user, you might only be allowed to check your balance, transfer funds, or pay bills. But if you're an admin, you might have additional access to manage accounts or view financial reports. So, authentication ensures that you are the correct user, while authorization ensures you can only do what your role allows. Why both are important. Here's why both are critical. Without authentication, anyone could pretend to be you and access your private data. But without authorization, even if someone successfully logs in, they might gain access to resources they shouldn't, like sensitive company data or someone else's private messages. Imagine a hacker steals your password. Without authentication, they could gain access. But with proper authorization in place, even if they got in, they wouldn't have access to sensitive information. So, to sum it up, authentication verifies who you are, and authorization determines what you can do. Both play crucial roles in ensuring the security and privacy of systems, apps, and data. I hope this video helped clarify the difference between the two. If you found it useful, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more tech explanations. And if you've got any questions or need further clarification, drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching and stay secure.